Move that over there. So first and foremost, all praises to Abinawa Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Hamashiach Yahushai. It's your brother here from Mike Gabar, the true Hebrews under God, aka Thundercap. And to my left, so once again, another Shabbat, keeping it holy. I hope brothers and sisters doing it the same. Today we're gonna go over Judges 7, 8, and 9. You know, Judges 9 gonna take a little bit more explaining for to do for brothers and sisters so they can understand. So let's go to Judges chapter 7 and read verse 1.
Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley.
So hold that, give me Judges chapter 6, verse 24 and 25. Because Jerubbaal is the same as Gideon. Gideon is Jerubbaal. I think last week of not reading chapter 7, I was thinking that Jerubbaal, that's what they was calling, because Jerubbaal means let Baal defend himself. But that's what they called Gideon. So Gideon's name was actually, Gideon was called Jerubbaal. So Jerubbaal is Gideon, and Gideon was of the tribe of Manasseh. So read Judges 6 and 24 and 25.
Then Gideon built an altar there unto the Lord, and called it Yahweh Shalom. Unto this day it is yet an Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, Take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father had, and cut down the grove that is by it.
So they'll jump to verse 32.
Therefore on that day he called him Jerubbaal,
which that is another name for Gideon. So Gideon was called Jerubbaal, which Jerubbaal, like I said, means let Baal defend himself. Continue.
Saying, let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar.
Because, and we just read in verse 24 and 25 that Gideon was the one that threw down the altar of Baal. So his name was changed to Jerubbaal, which means let Baal defend himself. So go back to Judges chapter 7 and read verse 1 again.
Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley.
So Shabbat Shalom, sisters and brothers. Continue.
And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that were with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me.
Which vaunt means to boast. So lest Israel boast against the Most High, go ahead.
Saying, mine own hand hath saved me.
So give me James chapter 4 verse 16. James chapter 4 verse 16. So James chapter 4 verse 16. Shabbat Shalom, family. So the Lord, the Lord, he didn't want, he didn't need a lot of people to go out to war. The Lord always deal with a remnant of our people, a small number of people. So James 4 and 16, read that real quick.
But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil.
Read that one more time.
But now ye rejoice in your boastings.
So Israel, they was rejoicing and they was boasting, right? Go ahead.
All such rejoicing is evil.
So when you boast and you're rejoicing over that, that is evil. So what Israel was doing by boasting against the Most High, that's evil. Now give me Psalms 94 and 4. We must give the Most High all the praise and honor. It's not of our own doing. We can't say this is our doing, or I woke up 10, 15 brothers today, or I did this, or I did that. You have to give all praises to the Most High. He gives the honor and glory, not men. The Most High put the Spirit up on us to be the prophets and teachers, but it is He's the one that's gathering Israel through the Spirit, not our own doing. So get Psalms 94, verse 4.
How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves?
All the workers of iniquity do what?
Boast themselves.
All the workers of iniquity, they boast themselves. We must all remind ourselves that we got to stay humble. We cannot boast ourselves and be prideful. No. I see a lot of the time, a lot of brothers in different camps, you see it. I ain't gonna call no names out, but you see it. Brothers is making it seem like they just the only men of the Lord. If you're not affiliated with them, you're not in the truth. The rest of us are just Christians that's reading the Bible. We must humble ourselves and not boast. Read that part again. It's Psalms 94 and 4.
How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves?
All the workers of iniquity, all the sinners, they the ones that love to boast themselves. You see, that's what the scripture says. So all these brothers and sisters boasting and prideful, that's what the scripture said. Also said in Proverbs, pride leadeth goeth before destruction. So go back to Judges chapter 7 and read verse 2 again.
And the Lord said to Gideon,
Shabbat Shalom.
the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand hath saved me.
So he didn't want all of Israel to go against the Midianites, because then if they would have came, say 200,000 deep, and would have took down the Midianites, they would have been like, look, that was our doing. We did this. So the Lord said, nah, it's too many of y'all. I'm only one of few of y'all, so that Israel won't be able to boast. They will understand that, hold on, it was only a few against many, and Israel still won. That had to have been the Most High's doing. So read verse 3 out.
Now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead.
So he's letting them know, all the folks that's afraid, all the people that's fearful, you can go home. So now he's pretty much recruiting the ones that he won, and he's letting a lot of these people that freely want to go. If you don't want to go to war, if you ain't ready to fight, you don't have that spirit of fight, okay, you can go, because not everybody have that warrior type of spirit. Some brothers is not as strong as other brothers. Some brothers was built for war, ready for war. Some brothers don't really like to go to war. They rather be behind the scene, doing other work. And that's okay. We all got our place. So read verse 3 again, Salakia.
Now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 20 and 2,000, and there remained 10,000.
So there was altogether was 32,000 people. 22,000 was afraid and was fearful. So only remained 10,000 out of the 32,000 men that was supposed to, that was in the group. 10,000 only remain. So give me Sirach in the Apocrypha. 34. Give me Sirach chapter 34. Verse 13 through 15. So Sirach chapter 34, verse 13 through 15.
The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in him that saveth them. Whoso feareth the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid.
Read verse 13 again, Slakia.
The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in him that saveth them.
Continue.
Whoso feareth the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid.
If you fear the Most High, and you're doing the work of the Most High, he don't give us that spirit of fear. We shouldn't be afraid. Continue.
For he is his hope.
For we know that the Most High is our help. He's the one he's gonna defend us. Verse 15.
Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord, to whom doth he look, and who is his strength.
Because the Lord, the Lord is the one that builds us up through the Spirit. He's the one that gives us that strength, to endure all this trials and tribulation that we have, all this affliction that we have to endure. That's why we have to fear the Most High. And the way you show that you fear him is by what? Keeping his commandments, doing what he said. So give me Zechariah chapter 12. So remind you, 22,000 men left because they was afraid and fearful. So Zechariah chapter 12, read verse 8.
And that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David.
So in these last days, when the Lord, when the Most High, sent back our big brother Yahweh, who the world calls Jesus Christ, the ones of our people that's feeble, that's weak, that's not as strong, they're going to be made as David, as a warrior. They're going to be given strength. Go ahead.
And the house of David shall be as God.
So already, you brothers out there that's already mighty men, already warriors, you're going to be made like the angels of the Most High. Continue.
As the angel of the Lord before them.
So the ones that's weak going to be made as strong like David. The ones that's already strong is going to be made even stronger as the angels of God. So let's go back to Judges chapter 7 and read verse 3 again.
Now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000.
Continue.
And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go.
So give me Matthew 22 and 14 real quick. So the Lord let them know. He says too many. It's still too many. After 22,000 left because they was fearful and afraid, there remained 10,000. He didn't want 10,000. He said that's too many. He wanted to lower that even lower. So give me Matthew chapter 22 verse 14.
For many are called, but few are chosen.
So many are called, but few are chosen. Now give me Isaiah 48 and 12 to precept that. Isaiah 48 and 12. Many are called, but few are chosen. So there was many around, but only the Lord was looking for few. Just like in these last days. A lot of people ain't going to wake up. This truth is only for a few, only a remnant. Only for the elect's sake. So give me Isaiah chapter 48, verse 12.
Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my called, I am he. I am the first, I also am the last.
So the point is, Israel is the one that's called. So many are called. The nation that was called was the nation of Israel. But only few is going to be chosen out of the nation of Israel, because we are as the sand of the sea. As many Israelites throughout the four corners of the earth. There's many so-called blacks, Hispanic Americans scattered everywhere, but only few of those the Lord is dealing with. So go back to Judges chapter 7 and read verse 5.
So he brought down the people unto the water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth up the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, every one that boweth down upon his knees to drink.
Lappeth means to like lick up. So you know how like you go to the stream or whatever, you take your hand and you pretty much scoop up and you drink. So that's what lappeth means. So read verse 6.
And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth.
So putting their hand to their mouth. So this is why they was drinking, right? They was drinking like this, which is normal, right? Go ahead.
Were 300 men.
So there was only 300 men that did that. Remind you, it started off 32,000. 22,000 was afraid and fearful. It cut down to 10,000. 22 left and went home. 10,000. Out of those 10,000, 300 had common sense to actually scoop up the water with their hand. Go ahead.
But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water.
So the other people pretty much got on their knees and just went pretty much face first. Just drinking up the water like damn animals, like beasts. But the other ones, 300 was common sense, like, okay, let me scoop it up with my hand. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you.
So he's like, okay, only those 300 men I'm dealing with. That's gonna be only them 300 men that have some common sense. I mean, I understand you walking around or whatever. You might be thirsty, but you ain't that thirsty. Just go dive into the water, like drinking like a damn beast. Like have scoop up with your hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Continue. So read verse 7 again.
And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let all the other people go every man unto his place.
So that 9,700, go back home. I'm only dealing with 300. So out of 32,000 men, only 300 the Lord chose. That's a very small number.
Yeah.
So just imagine, 1/3 of Israel is supposed to be saved, and a lot of brothers and sisters not realizing, they thinking, oh, I don't see a lot of people waking up. But what about the people that died before us, the generations before that haven't been brought back? You forgot to include them. So don't think because you thinking, okay, 144,000 men, 12,000 for each tribe. Those are the prophets. That's okay, 12,000 each tribe, and then it's 1/3. So a lot of brothers like, okay, let me look around the world. I don't see that many. We good. I think we part of 1/3. We might be part of 144,000. You forgot about the generation before. You forgot about the generation before that. We understand regenerations in the Bible, but what about all those spirits that haven't been brought back, that was righteous, that died for the truth? They still too. That's part of their elect. So that's a lot of people. So a lot of people thinking because there's only a few people woken up. No, the Lord, a lot of people gonna be surprised. You gotta understand. We gotta use wisdom and understand. That's why we gotta get our house in order and understand. Live righteous to the T. Do not let anyone take your crown. So continue.
Verse 8. So the people took victuals in their hand and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men. And the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley.
So he only kept the 300 men. Continue.
And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand.
Continue.
But if thou fear to go down, go thou with Purah, thy servant, down to the host, and thou shalt hear what they say. And afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host.
So Purah is like a mighty man, arm bearer. Go ahead.
Then went he down with Purah, his servant, into the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for multitude. And their camels were without number, as the sand by the sea side for multitude.
So give me a Leviticus 26 real quick. Leviticus 26. Verse, because you see, they had multitude. They had a great number, right? And we only had 300 men, right, with us, pretty much, right? Including Gideon, 301 in his servant, so 302. So I'll get Leviticus 26, 7 through 8.
And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100.
So 5 of us was going to chase 100 if he was doing the will of the Father. If the Father's dealing with us, right? Go ahead.
And 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight.
So 100 of us was going to make 10,000 flee, right? Go ahead.
And your enemy shall fall before you by the sword.
So you see, the Lord is letting you know right there that we didn't need a lot of people. One of us, 5 of us was going to chase 100. You know, so go back to Judges chapter 7. So that shows the Lord don't need no mass army. Like I said, you know, a lot of people talk about the Spartans and so forth. That was us. That was us going and kicking everybody butt, you know, slaying hundreds of thousands of men. And people like, how they do it? Because the Most High was on their side. So go back to read verse 13.
And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow, and said, Behold, I dreamed a dream. And lo, a cake barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay alone.
So this man is prophesying, right? So he's prophesying the fall of the Midianites through the hand of Gideon. And remind you, so the you know, Gideon heard it, and also the Midianites heard it. So let's see what happened. Continue.
And his fellow answered and said, This is nothing, else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand hath God delivered Midian and all the host. And it was also, and it was, excuse me, and it was so when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel and said, Arise, for the Lord hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian.
So even Gideon, you know, he needed the confirmation. You know, he needed to be confirmed that the Lord was working with him. You know, because like I said, not everybody have strong faith. That's why, you know, that's a blessing to have a lot of faith. You know, a lot of people lack faith. So this brother reminds you, the Lord told him in verse 9 and 10, or verse 10, if you're afraid, you know, go with your servant Parah, because you know, because Gideon didn't have that much faith as, you know, some men have. And then not that alone wasn't going to seal the deal. So he had to go, you know, hear a prophet say, hey, you know, it's going to be your hand. You know, Most High is going to allow you to, you know, take down the Midianites. So he needed that confirmation. Continue.
16. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies. And he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them, Look on me, and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that, as I do, so shall ye do.
Continue.
When I blow with the trumpet, and all that are with me, then blow ye the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, The sword of the Lord and of Gideon. So Gideon,
that's all they have to say, the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon, right? Continue.
So Gideon and 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch. And they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers that were within their hands. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets, and brake the pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hands, and the trumpets in their right hands, to blow withal. And they cried, The sword of the Lord, and the sword of Gideon. And they stood every man in his place round about the camp. And all the host ran, and cried, and fled.
Wait. All the hosts did what?
Ran, and cried, and fled.
Just because he said, the host of Yahweh, or the sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. So you see how powerful our forefathers were when they was obedient to the Father. We didn't even have to, a lot of the times, you know, slay anybody or do much. The Lord, people was afraid of us. You see what I'm saying? Like we put fear in man's heart. So like we read in Leviticus, 5 of us was going to chase 100. 100 of us going to put 10,000 to flight. So imagine what 144,000, 12,000 for each tribe will do to this world. Put the whole world in fear. So continue on that.
22. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and the Lord set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the host. And the host fled to Beth Shittah in Zererath, into the border of Abel Maholah unto Tabbath. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali and out of Asher and out of Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers.
So for the next verse of the next chapter for brothers, I believe it's the next chapter, or chapter 9, either or. Remind you, I think it's the next chapter. Yeah, it's the next chapter. Read that part again, Slakia, verse 23.
And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali and out of Asher and out of all Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites.
So remind you, out of Naphtali, out of Asher, and out of all Manasseh. You have Manassites dwelling on the east side of Jordan and on the west side of Jordan. Continue.
And Gideon sent messengers throughout all Mount Ephraim, saying, Come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Beth Barah in Jordan. Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and took the waters unto Beth Barah and Jordan.
So remind you, Ephraim, we're going to read the next chapter. It's going to be kind of funny. But continue.
25. And they took 2 princes of the Midianites.
So the Ephraimites, they took the 2 princes, right? Go ahead.
Oreb and Zeeb, and they slew Oreb upon the rock. Oreb and Zeeb they slew at the winepress of Zeeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeeb to Gideon on the other side Jordan.
So they brought the heads of those 2 princes, right? So check this out. So now let's go to Judges chapter 8. So remind you, they already gathered through Naphtali and Asher, and all of Manasseh pursued after Midianites. So they was the one doing most of the fighting. And then later down, they said, okay, Ephraim, tell the Ephraimites, take over that side of Jordan, right? So let's see what happened with Ephraim.
And the men of Ephraim
said, Judges chapter 8, verse 1, read that.
and the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why hast thou served us thus?
Why have what?
Why hast thou served us thus?
What have you done? Why have you done this, pretty much? What have you done unto us? Why did you do this? Go ahead.
That thou caused us not, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites. And they did chide with him sharply.
Which means strive with them strongly. So, guess what? The Ephraimites got mad because Gideon, remind you, Gideon is from the tribe of Manasseh. So Ephraim got mad, right? Read verse 2 and we're going to do some precepting. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you?
So Gideon in response was like, read that part again, verse 2.
And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better in the vintage of Abiezer?
Wait, Slakia. Oh yeah, I'll definitely hit you up. I'm gonna hit you up tonight. Read verse 2. I got you up.
And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you?
So Midian was like, what have I done? Even though we pursuing at the Midianites, what have I done to compare to what you have done, Ephraim, the Ephraimites, right? So he's giving them praise to Ephraim. Go ahead.
Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer?
Which Abiezer was the grandson of Gideon. So he was of the tribe of Manasseh. So he's pretty much saying, like, Ephraim get mad because he's like, hold on, why you should have told me beforehand. I could have helped win the war. How you just gonna wait and call me back or call me when you want to? I'm supposed to be out there. I'm supposed to be one of the first people out there. You see what I'm saying? So give me Genesis chapter 48. This is why Ephraim got so mad. So get Genesis chapter 48. So Gideon had to like pretty much cheer him up. Like, hold up, man, I can't compare what you've done. You know what I mean? So Genesis 48, we ain't gonna read the whole thing, but this is the blessing that Jacob or Joseph gave to his two sons. So, or Jacob's like you, blessing Ephraim and Manasseh. So what I want, Genesis 48, 13 and 14.
And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn.
So jump down to verse 20 to get the understanding.
And he blessed them that day, saying, In thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh.
And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. So Ephraim, even though he was the youngest child and Manasseh was the oldest, Ephraim, he pretty much went like this when he blessed them. And he put Ephraim, the youngest child, above Manasseh. So now go back to Judges. So now you understand why the Ephraimites got mad. So read verse 1 again.
And the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why hast thou served us thus, that thou callest us not, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites?
What you doing, Manasseh? Gideon from the tribe of Manasseh, what are you doing? I am above you. I am the head tribe above you. Remember what Jacob, our forefather, did when he did the crossover? Right? He's like, why you didn't tell me about the fight? Right? Go ahead.
And they did chide with him sharply.
So they got mad. They were striving with their brother, right? Go ahead.
And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer?
So he used wisdom. You know, he could have been like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, why are you complaining? Stop acting like a female. You know, he could have said that, but he used wisdom. And he pretty much praised them like, what I've done, you've done way more, right? Verse 3.
God hath delivered into your hands the princes of Midian.
So he's praising them even more. You see, we was pursuing after them, but y'all was the ones that was able to get the two princes of the Midianites. Go ahead. The two leaders. Go ahead.
Oreb and Zeeb. And what was I able to do in comparison of you?
We can't compare what y'all done to. I can't compare what you done and compare it to us, the tribe of Manasseh, right? Go ahead.
Then their anger was abated.
So now they calmed down, right? They calmed down, right? Go ahead.
When he had said that.
When he said that smooth word, so he calmed them down by saying that, by praising this brother. Like, hold on, man. You know, give me Proverbs 15 and 1. Precept that. You know, so Gideon could have went a different way, but he used wisdom. And this is what a lot of brothers got to do. You know, don't be so quick and be so angry. Check this out. Proverbs 15 and 1. Good precept. Go ahead.
Proverbs 15 and 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath.
Read that one more time.
A soft answer turneth away wrath. But grievous words stir up anger.
So read that one more time, Alex. Like you.
A soft answer turneth away wrath.
A soft answer turned away wrath. Yeah. When he gave him a soft answer to the Ephraimites, guess what? They went from being angry to calming down because he gave them a soft answer. He didn't try to strive with them. He didn't try to fight back, but he gave them a smooth answer. Continue.
But grievous words stir up anger.
But if he would have, said something foolish, he would have made the Ephraimites even more angry, and they would have went to war Ephraim against Manasseh. You know what I mean? Like, forget the Midianites, we about to go to war. You know what I mean? So that's why it's wise to use smooth words when you see a brother mad. Don't be so quick because you see a brother mad to try to get mad with him. No. Use smooth words. Use wisdom to get out that situation. You know, you don't be so quick to try to fight your brothers. It's some or your wife or your husband, whatever. It's some of the you could use the smooth words to calm down your spouse, to calm down your brother on the street or whatever. Use smooth words and like time like we was out there teaching one time and brother was this few years ago one of the brothers was teaching and he just going on our sister and she's ready to call up people like I ain't from here, I'm from Chicago, blah blah blah, and she calling all these people and stuff because the way he was talking, it's because some brothers not using wisdom, and we was young at that time. They didn't know how to approach or how to teach using wisdom, so they see what brothers on YouTube doing, so they you dumb bees and all this stuff type of teaching, but that's not using wisdom. We got to understand that's not using wisdom. But we was that was years ago, but I pretty much told her sister I apologize, sis, and pretty much used smooth words to calm her down, and then she was perfectly fine. She went her way. You see what I'm saying? That's the way we have to do. Use wisdom. So go back to Judges chapter 8 and verse 4.
And Gideon came to Jordan and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint yet pursuing them.
So they was exhausted, but they still pursued after the Midianites because they was warriors, right? We'll continue.
And he said unto the men of Succoth, give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian.
So he asked for a favor for for these people to give them some food, right? Because they exhausted. They were pursuing after these kings, right? Go ahead.
And the princes of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thy hand, that we should give bread unto thine army?
So he like, you ain't even done fighting. You don't deserve to get no food. You didn't even accomplish what you came to accomplish, right? But let's see what Gideon said to this heathen. Go ahead.
And Gideon said, therefore, when the Lord hath delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand.
So he's letting them know, once we do capture this king and put our hands on this man and do what we gonna do to him?
Then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars.
So he threatened him, right? He threatened this man like, okay, you don't want to give me and my man some bread? And we asked nicely, okay, once we handle this business, I'm gonna circle back around and we gonna do some evil towards you too. Right? Go ahead. Our forefathers did not play. Go ahead.
And he went up thence to Peniel and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Peniel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him.
So he asked the man of Peniel just for some bread. Can I just get some bread, man? We've been pursuing after these people all day. Let me get some bread. The man of Peniel said the same thing. Right, go ahead.
And he spake also unto the men of Peniel, saying, when I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. Now Zebah and...
So he threatened that man, right? Continue.
Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their host with them about 15,000 men. All that were left of the host of the children of the east, for there fell 120,000 men that drew sword.
100 and what?
20,000 men that drew sword.
You see how many our people was warriors. Our people are warriors. You see, we didn't only need 300 men killing 100-some thousand people, man. Go ahead.
And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in the tents on the east of Nobah and Jog-behar, and smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the host.
So he pretty much terrified them. He put fear in their heart. Go ahead.
And Gideon the son of Joash returned from battle before the sun was up. And caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him. And he described unto him the princes of Succoth and the elders thereof, even 70 men.
Which is 77 men. Go ahead.
And he came unto the men of Succoth, and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary? And he took the elders of the city, and thorns of the wilderness, and briars, and with them
I might have to go get a chair.
he taught the men of Succoth. And he beat down the tower of Peniel, and slew the men of the city.
So he beat down and slew the men of the city, right? Continue.
Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, What manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, As thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of kings.
Continue.
And he said, They were my brethren, even the sons of my mother, as the Lord liveth. If ye have saved them alive, I would not slay you.
Continue.
And he said unto Jether, his son, his firstborn, Up and slay them. And the young drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth.
So he was young, so he had fear. He was fearful. So Lord, he pretty much told his son, you need to kill this heathen. But he was afraid. You know, like I said, the Lord don't give us that spirit of fear. Go ahead.
Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, Rise thou, and fall upon us. For as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks.
So Gideon tried to let his son do it, but he's like, okay, I'll do it. And he slayed the two kings and took their ornaments, their jewelry. Go ahead.
Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, but thou and thy son and thy son's son.
So remember
also.
this for the next chapter we do. So we in Judges chapter 8, verse 22. So read that more time, Judges 8:22.
Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, Rule thou over us, but thou and thy son and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian.
So remember this scripture when we go into chapter 9. It's going to play a key role to understanding the chapter 9 of Judges. Go ahead.
And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you.
So he's letting them know, I'm not going to rule over you. Go ahead.
Neither shall my son rule over you.
Neither my descendants is going to rule over you. Go ahead.
The Lord shall rule over you.
Who?
The Lord shall rule over you.
So give me 1 Corinthians 11:3. So he's letting them know, I'm not going to rule over you. Neither my son's going to rule over you, but the Lord shall rule over you. 1 Corinthians 11:3.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. That's our Lord, Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the man. Go ahead.
And the head of Christ is God.
And the head of our Lord, which is Yahweh Shai, is Yahweh, the Father. So there's order to it. Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, the man, women, children. That's the order. Go back to Judges chapter 8.
Judges 8:24. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that ye would give every man the earrings of his prey.
So he didn't want to be the king over Israel. He didn't want to be the ruler, but he asked for one favor. Go ahead.
For they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites.
So because they spoiled the Ishmaelites. They took their gold, just like Gideon took it. So they started robbing the Ishmaelites, right? Go ahead.
And they answered, We will willingly give them. And they spread a garment, and did cast therein, every man the earrings of his prey.
So everything they took, they gave all the gold, the earrings to Gideon. Go ahead.
And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, beside ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were about their camels' necks.
So they even had jewelry on their camel neck. You see how balling they was. See, go ahead.
And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city.
So the ephod is like the outer garment for the priests. You know, when I edit the video, I do a visual, so brothers and sisters to know. But it's the outer garment for the priests. Go ahead.
Even in Ophrah, and all Israel went thither.
Which Ophrah was this a town in of the hometown of Gideon. Go ahead.
Even in Ophrah, and all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and to his house.
So Gideon did it not for them to, you know, be wicked or worship it or treat it as an idol, you know, but it actually backfired. Go ahead.
Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more, and the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon.
So we subdued the Midianites. Remind you when we read prior a few weeks ago, the Midianites we had agreements with the Midianites. We was cool with the Midianites because the Midianites was related by marriage. They was our Moses' wife. That was our she was a Midianite. So we had an agreement with them, but because we started being wicked, the Lord sent them against us. Go ahead.
And Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in.
With Jerubbaal, like we pointed out, it's the same name as Gideon. Go ahead.
And Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives.
So he had 70 wives, or 70 children. Slaka, go ahead.
And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name he called Abimelech.
So we're going to find out about Abimelech in the next chapter. But Abimelech was of his concubine. And we're going to find out what tribe was she in chapter 9. Go ahead.
And Gideon, the son of Joash, died in a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash, his father, in Ophrah of the Abezerites.
Which was where the Manassites was, the land of Manasseh. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again and went a whoring after Baalim.
wait. Read verse 33 again. So after this righteous man Gideon, after the Lord set him up to be, to take down the Midianites, soon as he died, guess what happened? Read that part again. It's crazy. And we wonder why our people are suffering today. We wonder why we in a condition we constantly getting gunned down. We see it every day. We're getting gunned down, killed. The Lord is just putting judgment upon this earth. He said in judgment. And the ones of our people that's not waking up, they're going to get moved out the way. That's what the Lord is doing. So read verse 33 again.
And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead,
as soon as he died, what happened?
That the children of Israel turned again and went a whoring after Baalim,
which was the Canaanite god. Go ahead.
And made Baal Berith their god.
Which Baal Berith means the Lord of the covenant. Go ahead. He was the god of the Canaanites, the Philistines. Go ahead. So after he died, they went to go serve some African gods. Go ahead. Like a lot of our people into that, Egyptology and these different Kemetic and all that stuff to this day. Same spirits being brought back in the earth. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel remember not the Lord their God.
So after the Lord did all this work, marvelous work for our people, you'll think our people would be like, okay, use common sense and say, well, we need to get right, stay right. Nope. As soon as Gideon died, they went off. Go ahead. And they didn't remember. Read that part again.
And the children of Israel remember not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side.
So they didn't remember the Lord. Go ahead.
Neither showed they kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had showed unto Israel.
So all that work that Gideon did, the other brother and his sister didn't even show goodness, wasn't even kind to the house of Gideon. You would think they would pay respect. Like, hold on, this man, he put in work. You know what I mean? We should show some respect to his family. Nope, they didn't give a damn. Showing how evil our people is. So, Judges chapter 9, last chapter. So, Judges chapter 9, let's read verse 1. So, this You know, it's going to take more precepts to get the understanding. But we're going to find out which each person was. Like I said, we're going to find out about Abimelech and what tribe his mother was from and everything. So we're going to get to it. So Judges chapter 9, verse 1.
And Abimelech the son of Jerubbaal went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren and communed with them.
To his mother. Read that part again, Slakia.
And Abimelech the son of Jerubbaal.
So he was the son of Gideon. Go ahead, which is Jerubbaal. Go ahead.
Went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren.
To remind you, his mother, Abimelech, was a concubine. So he went to who? His mother's brethren. Go ahead.
And communed with them.
And talk with them. Go ahead.
And with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying.
So he went to his mother's side and dealt with them. He didn't go to the Israelite side. He went to the concubine, his mother's side, and dealt with and talked to them and said what? Verse 2.
Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether is better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70 persons,
which is 70, go ahead,
reigned over you, or that one reigned over you.
So, you see how wicked this man is? Read that part again, verse 2.
Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem.
And we're going to find out who the people of Shechem was. Go ahead.
Whether it's better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70 persons, reigned over you, or that one reigned over you.
So he's letting them know, like, is it better for just 70 people to rule over you? Or would you just prefer one? Go ahead.
Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh.
Remember, I am your people. My mom is your people, right? Go ahead. And that's why the Lord told us not to deal with these other nations. So let's see what happened. Go ahead.
And his mother's brethren spake of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem all these words, and their hearts inclined to follow Abimelech. For they said, he is our brother.
So they wanted to follow Abimelech, for they say, he is our brother. He's our people. Go ahead.
And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Baal Berith.
So they gave him some idols, right? Go ahead.
Wherewith Abimelech hired vain and light persons.
So vain meaning worthless, that light meaning like reckless. So this man Abimelech was a wicked man that he hired worthless and reckless evil men, right? Go ahead.
Which followed him.
And they followed this man. Go ahead.
And he went unto his father's house at Ophrah and slew his brethren.
Well, he did what?
And slew his brethren, the sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons.
So he killed all 70 brothers. Go ahead.
Upon one stone. Notwithstanding, yet Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself.
So he killed 69. One fled. Like, hell no, anybody get me. The youngest fled. Right? Go ahead.
And all the men of Shechem gathered together in all the house of Millo, and went and made Abimelech king by the plain of the pillar that was in Shechem. So
we're going to find out who these people is. To remind you, Shechem, you had the tribe of Manasseh that was dwelling there. And we're going to prove that later on down the road. Go ahead.
And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood in the top of the mount, Gerizim, and lifted up his voice and cried and said unto them, hearken unto me, ye men of Shechem, that God may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on a time.
So this is a parable, Slakia. So this is a parable that he's about to say. That this man, what's his name, Jatam?
Yeah.
Is about to, he about to say a parable. So check out this parable.
Verse 8. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king.
So remind you, we just read about the Shechem. These people was related to Gideon, son Abimelech, through the concubine. So these was not our people. But we're gonna, I'm gonna show you through the precepts how in the land of Shechem, which is the land that Manasseh received, you also had another people living in that land. And we're going to show you in a second. So read that part again, read verse 8 again.
The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them. And they said unto the olive tree, reign now over us.
So these trees is not referring to our people. These trees in this parable is referring to this man's, his family, which is of the concubine seed, right? Which are heathens. So these heathens went forth. Read that part again.
The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them.
So these heathens, this is what they did. Go ahead.
And they said unto the olive tree, reign thou over us.
So they said to the olive tree, be our leader, be our king. Go ahead.
But the olive tree said unto them,
check this out.
Should I leave my fatness, wherewith by me they honor God and man?
So should I leave my fatness, all this blessing? Go ahead.
And go to be and promoted over the trees?
And to be promoted over you heathens? So why would I leave all these blessings that I'm pleasing the Most High, serving the Most High, and doing good to men of the nation of Israel, and go and serve these trees, go and serve you heathens, go and rule over you heathens? Why would I do this? Continue.
And the tree said to the fig tree, come thou and reign over us. But the fig tree said unto them, should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit and go to be promoted over the trees?
Should I go and stop doing all these works, showing all these good fruits towards our people, and go and be promoted over you? Continue.
Then said the trees unto the vine, come thou and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, shall I leave my wine, which cheereth God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees?
Read verse 13 again.
And the vine said unto them, should I leave my wine, which cheereth God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees?
So the vine, you had the fig tree and the olive tree. They're all saying, like, we doing the works of the Father, and we're pleasing the Father, and we pleasing our nation. Why would I stop doing this, pleasing my people and my nation and my Father, to go and be promoted to being a king over you heathens? Remind you, the Bible says in Isaiah 40:17, these other nations are nothing. So they're looking like, why would I stop being, with all these blessings that I'm receiving, to be a king over you? And you are nobodies. Continue.
Then said all the trees unto the bramble,
which are the thorns. Go ahead.
come thou and reign over us.
So he went to the he went to the olive tree. He went to a fig tree. He went to the what's the other thing? The vine tree. Or he went to the vine. None of them wanted to rule over the trees of these heathens. So now he went to the thorns. Something wicked, something that's gonna, prick you, right? Go ahead.
And the bramble said unto the trees, if in truth ye anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon.
So hold that. So go back to Judges 8:22. That's why I told brothers and sisters to remember this scripture, because it's going to help you understand the parable. So Judges chapter 8, verse 22 and 23.
Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us.
So we're going to further prove that the people of Shechem was children of Israel living there of the tribe of Manasseh, and there was also Canaanites living there. And we're going to show in a second. Go ahead.
Both thou...
No, read verse 22 again.
Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you.
Because Gideon was a righteous man. He said, I'm not going to rule over you. I'm not going to be your king. Go ahead.
Neither shall my son rule over you.
Neither my descendants is going to rule over you. Go ahead.
The Lord shall rule over you.
But the Lord shall rule over you. So these people that was in the land of Shechem, which was in the land of Israel, which was the inheritance of Manasseh, they went to find a king. This was the parable is all about. They wanted to find a king. They went to righteous men, none of the righteous men wanted to be rulers over these heathens. So they went to the thorn, which is the concubine descendant, which is Abimelech, the wicked man, and said, okay, we allow you to be rule over of us. So they skipped, so the vine didn't want to be ruler. None of the righteous men, because why would we stop doing, that's like us out there teaching the Bible, and we teaching our people, and then some Edomite comes up, and you take all your focus off your people and put all the focus on him and trying to edify him. It's like, why are you wasting your time where you should be blessing and serving your people? We out there to serve our people and to help our people. The hell with you, tree. You ain't nobody. You're nothing. And that's what the whole parable is about. That's what it was about. You know what I mean? So go back to Judges chapter 9 and read verse 16.
Now therefore, if ye have done truly and sincerely, in that ye have made Abimelech king, and if ye have dwelt well with Jerubbaal in his house, and have done unto him according to the deserving of his hands.
Which they didn't do well. They killed this man's children. Right? Continue.
For my father fought for you, and adventured his life far, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian. And ye are risen up against my father's house this day, and have slain his sons, 70 persons upon one stone, and have made Abimelech the son of his maidservant.
The son of who?
The son of his maidservant.
Son of a slave. Go ahead.
King over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother.
Because he was related to some of the people that was living in Shechem of his mother's side, off his mother's side. Go ahead.
If ye then have dwelt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal and with his house this day, then rejoice ye in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech and devour the men of Shechem and the house of Milo. And let fire come out from the men of Shechem and from the house of Milo and devour Abimelech.
Kill that man. Go ahead.
And Jotham ran away and fled and went to Beer and dwelt there for fear of Abimelech his brother.
Because he like, oh, I don't want to get slain like my other brothers. So he was afraid, right, of his big brother. Go ahead.
When Abimelech had reigned 3 years over Israel, then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem.
What did the Most High do?
Then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem. And the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech.
So give me Isaiah 45:7. The Lord sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem. Which the men of Shechem, they first wanted him to be ruler over him. You know, they let Abimelech be ruler over them. But now the Lord, because Abimelech was being wicked, the Lord put an evil spirit to turn them against Abimelech. So give me Isaiah 45:7.
I form the light and create darkness.
That's what the Most High does. Go ahead.
I make peace and create evil.
And I create what?
I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Now give me one more. Amos 3:6. So the Lord sent that evil spirit. Yes, it be the Lord. If anything happens on this earth, the Lord is the one that done it. He's the one that sends the earthquakes and the tornado. He's the one that sends the death angels. He does that. So give me, in the churches we give Satan too much power. No, Satan can't do nothing that the Lord don't allow him to do. So give me Amos 3:6. Read that.
Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people be not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city?
Should there be what?
Shall there be evil in a city?
So there's evil all throughout the city. Go ahead.
And the Lord have not done it.
And who put that evil in it?
And the Lord have not done it.
The Lord is the one that caused that. He's the one that allowed that. He's the one that sent the evil spirits. So go back to Judges 9:23. So just like in the time of Abimelech, the Lord done it. Read that part again.
Then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem. And the men of Shechem dwelt treacherously with Abimelech. That the that the cruelty done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which slew them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in the killing of his brethren.
Go ahead.
And the men of Shechem set liers in wait for him in the top of the mountains.
So they was ready to ambush Abimelech, right? Go ahead.
And they robbed all that came along that way by them, and it was told Abimelech.
Uh-huh.
And Gaal, the son of Abed, came with his brethren and went over to Shechem. And the men of Shechem put their confidence in him.
So the men of Shechem put the confidence in Gaal, right? Go ahead. We're going to find out who is Gaal in a second. Go ahead.
And they went out into the fields and gathered their vineyards and trode the grapes and made merry and went into the house of their God and did eat and drink and cursed Abimelech.
So remind you, we're going to find out that these people was not Israelites. Gaal, the son of Ebed, was not an Israelite. That went to the land of Shechem was not an Israelite.
Verse 28. And Gaal, the son of Abed, said, Who is Abimelech?
Now read that one more time, verse 28. Slakia.
And Gaal, the son of Abed, said, Who is Abimelech?
So who is Abimelech? So you're like, who is this man? Right? Go ahead.
And who is Shechem?
Uh-huh.
That we should serve him.
So he's pretty much saying, like, we are the people, we are the same people. Why are we allowing this man to rule over us, right? Go ahead.
Is not he the son of Jerubbaal? And Zebul, his officer, served the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. For why should we serve him?
So read verse 28 again. We understand, sister. Tomato. Yeah. Read that one more time, verse 28.
And Gaal, the son of Abed, said, Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Is not he the son of Jerubbaal?
So ain't he a son of an Israelite? Because Jerubbaal was an Israelite. So ain't he the son of an Israelite? Go ahead.
And Zebul, his officer, served the men of Hamor.
So he's like, serve the men of Hamor. Hamor was is the or I don't want to spoil it, but we'll find out who Hamor is. Go ahead.
Served the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem.
So Hamor was the father of Shechem, right? Go ahead.
For why should we serve him?
So he's pretty much saying, why are we serving this man, which is his father is an Israelite, and not serve Shechem, or serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem? So now, give me Genesis 34. Let's find out who the people of Shechem was. Or however you want to pronounce it. So Genesis chapter 34. On your own time, y'all can read the whole story, but we're gonna skip a little bit. So Genesis 34. Let's find out who the people of Shechem was, or Shechem, whatever. So Genesis 34, 1 through 7, then we're gonna jump.
And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land.
So this is Jacob's daughter, right? Go ahead.
And when Shechem,
With who?
And when Shechem, the son of Hamor,
The son of who?
the son of Hamor,
So we just read about this man, which Gaal was like, who is Abimelech? Why are you not serving? Why are you not serving the sons of Hamor? Why are you not serving them? Why are you serving Abimelech? Why are you putting him over us? He's an Israelite. Because they understood that the man carries the seed. Yeah, his mother was a Canaanite, but they pretty much saying like, no, he's still Israelite. Don't sit no Israelite above us. His father's Israel. His father's not a Canaanite. So read verse 2 again.
And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite,
The who?
the Hivite,
Those are Canaanites. Go ahead.
prince of the country, saw her, he took her and laid with her and defiled her.
So this African raped our sister pretty much. Go ahead.
And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. And he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel.
Uh-huh.
And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife.
Uh-huh.
And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come.
So we in Genesis 34,
And Hamor,
verse 6.
And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him.
Uh-huh.
And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done.
So now jump down to verse 24. So 24 all the way down to 31. So this Hamor and the people that was living in Shechem was Hittites, or make sure, Hivites, which those are Canaanites. Go ahead.
And unto Hamor and unto Shechem, his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised.
So pretty much explain the story real quick. He told him, okay, they pretty much deceived the Canaanites. They said, okay, we allow y'all to marry my daughter, but you have to get circumcised. Once they got circumcised, they was in so much pain. This is what happened. Go ahead.
And all that went out of the gate of his city. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came upon the city boldly, and slew all the males.
So they killed all the Hivites, which are Canaanites. Go ahead.
And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister.
Uh-huh.
They took their sheep and their oxen and their asses, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. And Jacob said unto Simeon and Levi, Ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me, and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house.
So even Jacob was afraid because of what they done to the Canaanites and the Perizzites, right? Go ahead.
And they said, Should he deal with our sister as with an harlot?
So the people of Shechem and was Canaanites. So now give me Joshua chapter 24. Through precepts we get understanding. So Joshua chapter 24. Because without precepts, this chapter would be kind of confusing, because you don't know who is Israelite or who's who. So Joshua chapter 24 and read verse 32. So check this out.
And the bones of Joseph, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried they in Shechem.
Buried them where?
In Shechem.
Uh-huh.
In a parcel of ground which Jacob bought of the sons of Hamor.
So they bought this land from the sons of Hamor, right? Go ahead.
The father of Shechem for 100 pieces of silver, and it became the inheritance of the children of Joseph.
The children of who?
Children of Joseph.
So Joseph received that land, the land of Shechem, right? But remind you, what we just read in Genesis chapter 34, that we slayed their fathers, their forefathers. So guess what? This is them trying to get revenge back. So now give me one more precept. Give me Judges chapter 1, verse 26 and 29. Let's see what happened. Go ahead. And why the Joseph was given that land, but why was you having Canaanites in that land? Let's see what happened. Judges chapter 1, verse 26 and 29.
And the man went into the land of the Hittites, and built a city, and called the name thereof Luz, which is the name thereof unto this day.
Check this out. Go ahead.
Neither did Manasseh drive out the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh and her towns, nor Ta'anak and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Laam and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo and her towns. But the Canaanites would dwell in that land.
But the what?
But the Canaanites would dwell in that land.
So Manasseh, remember, we just read that Joseph was given that land, but the Manassites did not drive them out. What did they do instead? Verse 28. Shabbat shalom.
And it came to pass, when Israel was strong, that they put the Canaanites to tribute, and did not utterly drive them out.
So they did not drive them out. They made them servants, right? Verse 29.
Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwelt in Gezer among them.
So now, go back to Judges chapter 9. Now we got the understanding. So, read verse 26 again. So these people of Shechem was some Israelites, but then you had also Canaanites that was not pushed out by the Manassites and Ephraimites because they rather allow them to be servants than to kick them out. Why should we kick them out? We can make them servants. But the Lord told them to kick them out. You see? So read verse 26. Now we got the understanding about this. That's why it's very important, precept upon precept. So read that.
And Gaal the son of Abed came with his brethren and went over to Shechem. And the men of Shechem put their confidence in him.
Because he was a Canaanite. He was the same people of the people of Shechem, which was Canaanites. Go ahead.
And they went out into the fields and gathered their vineyards and trode the grapes and made merry and went into the house of their God.
Of their gods. They went into the house of their God, the Canaanite God, right? Go ahead.
And did eat and drink and cursed Abimelech.
And they cursed. I wish he died, right? Go ahead.
And Gaal the son of Abed said, who is Abimelech?
Who is this man? Go ahead.
And who is Shechem that we would serve him? Is not he the son of Jerubbaal?
Isn't he an Israelite? Go ahead.
And Zebul, his officer, served the men of Hamor.
So Gaal was pretty much telling the men of Shechem, serve the men of Hamor. Allow a Canaanite, because Hamor was a Canaanite. Allow a Canaanite to rule over you, not no Israelite. Read that part again.
Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. For why should we serve him?
Why should we serve Abimelech when he's an Israelite? Why not put somebody of your descendants through your father ahead of you? Everybody understand that? Go ahead.
And would the God this people were under my hand, then would I remove Abimelech.
So he's saying, if you allow me to be head of y'all, I will remove Abimelech, right? Go ahead. I will take down Abimelech. Go ahead.
And he said to Abimelech, increase thine army and come out.
Let's go to war. That's what the Canaanites said. Go ahead. That's why you see how it backfired when Ephraim and Manasseh, they should have obeyed what the Most High said and drove out the Canaanites out of their land. But instead, they allowed them to dwell in the land and become tributary servants under them. But now, these same men later down, ready to go to war with Abimelech, Israel. Go ahead. The Israelites. Go ahead.
And when Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of Abed, his anger was kindled. And he sent messengers unto Abimelech privily, saying, behold, Gaal, the son of Abed, and his brethren be come to Shechem. And behold, they fortified the city against thee. Now, therefore, up by night, thou and the people that is with thee, and lie in wait in the field. And it shall be that in the morning, as soon as the sun is up, thou shalt rise early, and set upon the city. And behold, when he and the people that is with them come out against thee, then mayest thou do to them as thou shalt find occasion.
So Abimelech, his officer Zebul, he was an Israelite. I mean, not an Israelite, a Canaanite. Because remind you, in chapter or verse 4. Was it verse 4? No, verse 5. Wait, Slacky, let me make sure. Where's the part where verse 4, when he hired vain and light persons which followed him. So he hired some Israelites, and also, but Zabal, when you look it up in the Strong Concordance, he was a Canaanite. He was so you had Canaanites working with Abimelech that was on his side, and then you had the rest of them that was on Gaal side. Continue.
34. And Abimelech rose up, and all the people that were with him by night, and they laid wait against Shechem in 4 companies. And Gaal, the son of Abed, went out and stood in the entering of the gate of the city. And Abimelech rose up, and the people that were with him from lying in wait. And when Gaal saw the people, he said to Zabal, Behold, there come people down from the top of the mountains. And Zabal said unto him, Thou seest the shadow of the mountains as if they were men. And Gaal spake against and said, See, there come people down by the middle of the land, and another company come along by the plain of the Meonaman. Then said Zabal unto him, Where is now thy mouth? Wherewith thou saidest, Who is Abimelech, that we should serve him? Is not this the people that thou hast despised? Go out, I pray now, and fight with them.
Go ahead.
And Gaal went out before the men of Shechem and fought with Abimelech.
Go ahead.
And Abimelech chased him, and he fled before him. And many were overthrown and wounded, even unto the entering of the gate. And Abimelech dwelt at Iramah, and Zabal thrust out Gaal and his brethren, that they should not dwell in Shechem. And it came to pass on the morrow that the people went out into the field, and they told Abimelech.
So you see how they put these people, these Canaanites that was living in the land of the inheritance of Joseph, to death, when they should have did that back in Judges chapter 1. They should have put them to death. But that's what happens when Israel is rebellious. Everything that they do that rebel against the Father, it backfired on them. Go ahead.
And he took the people and divided them into 3 companies, and laid wait in the field, and looked, and behold, the people were come forth out of the city, and he rose up against them and smote them. And Abimelech and the company that was with him rushed forward and stood in the entering of the gate of the city. And the 2 other companies ran upon all the people that were in the fields, and slew them. And Abimelech fought against the city all that day, and he took the city, and slew the people that was therein, and beat down the city, and sowed it with salt. And when all the men of the tower of Shechem heard that, they entered into an hold of the house, the god Berith. And it was told Abimelech that all the men of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. And Abimelech gat him up to Mount Zalman.
I miss George. How you doing? Go ahead. That was my wife, mother.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
And all the people that were with him, and Abimelech took an axe in his hand, and cut down a bough from the trees, and took it, and laid it on his shoulder, and said unto the people that were with him, What ye have seen me do, make haste, and do as I have done.
Go ahead.
And all the people likewise cut down every man his bough, and followed Abimelech, and put them to the hold, and set the hold on fire upon them, so that all the men of the tower of Shechem died also, about 1,000 men and women.
So, remind you, Abimelech, it seemed like, oh, he's doing good in the war, so he might end up winning. But remind you, he did evil. He killed his own brothers for no reason, probably because he was jealous, because he wanted to be king, and his brother didn't even want to be king. He already told him that Gideon clearly said, I'm not going to be king, ruler over you, neither none of my sons are going to be rulers over you. But here come Abimelech, later down, was born of the concubine. He wanted to be king, He could have just been king. He didn't have to kill his brothers, but he did it anyway. Go ahead.
50. Then went Abimelech to the Bez, and encamped against the Bez, and took it. But there was a stronger tower within the city, and thither fled all the men and women, and all day of the city, and shut it to them, and gat them up to the top of the tower. And Abimelech came unto the tower and fought against it, and went hard unto the door of the tower to burn it with fire. And a certain woman cast a piece of millstone.
Check this out. Verse 53. Read that part again.
And a certain woman cast a piece of millstone upon Abimelech's head, and all to break his skull.
So she cast a stone upon his head. Right? This wicked man. He thinking he's doing good. He put 1,000 people to death, men and women. He's going to war. He think he's doing a great job. But this woman, read verse 53 again. Go ahead.
And a certain woman cast a piece of millstone upon Abimelech's head, and all to break his skull.
Break his head, right? Go ahead. Crack his head open, right? Go ahead.
Then he called hastily unto the young man his armor bearer, and said unto him, Draw thy sword and slay me, that men say not of me, a woman slew me.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
and his young man thrust him through, and he died.
So that happens to this day. You got brothers like you get beat up by a female, they like they get salty as hell. Like, hold up, hey, don't tell nobody, yo. You know what I mean? But yeah, he rather like, hold on. This woman dropped a millstone rock on his head, cracked him, boom. He's like, man, I can't go out like this. I can't do it. Man, hey, come stab me. Let people know, and then tell people. He probably, put it to the side and tell them that he fell by 1,000. He went to war. He fought a good fight, killed a bunch of people. You know what I mean? And he got stabbed by the mightiest men. Try to make up some story like that. You show it all of the warrior movies. You don't want to get, put to death by a woman, and that's what happened to him, right? Go ahead.
55. And when the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they departed every man unto his place. Thus God rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did unto his father, in slaying his 70 brethren.
So he got paid back. So any evil that brothers or sisters are doing, guess what? The Lord will pay you back. And he was paid back not by mighty men in the war, but by a woman with a drop of a rock. Cracked them. Boom. So you trying to tell me he was he's killing men and women and the rock kill him? That's the payback. That's the Heavenly Father putting that man to death. Go ahead.
And all the evil of the men of Shechem did God render upon their heads, and upon them came the curse of Jotham, the son of Jerubbaal.
So you see that? All the evil men. Read that part again, Slakia.
And all the evil of the men of Shechem did God render upon their heads, and upon them came the curse of Jotham, the son of Jerubbaal.
So he got cursed. The son of the concubine got cursed. You see, so yeah, definitely drop that Christianity and definitely come back home to the Israelites, So any brothers or sisters got any questions?